Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another video. It is always a pleasure trying out new Harley Bentons on the channel. Harley Benton is Thoman's house brand, and in my opinion, they are redefining the gold standard for guitars in terms of features and quality at what would traditionally be considered entry-level price points. The Fusion series is their most ambitious product line yet. It's their new series of premium super strats. They look great, they're feature-packed, and on paper they look incredible. But it's such a wallet-friendly price, just how good can it actually be? Well, time to find out. Let's take a closer look. And before we get into the review, I want to give a shout out to Ben Augusto and the rest of the patrons. Without you guys, this regularly released content just would not be possible. AdSense rates aren't always consistent, and right now in particular, they're pretty trash. So I just want to say I really appreciate your support in keeping these videos coming, and now let's get into the review. Before we dive into the looks and specs, let's set some expectations. This guitar ships new from Thoman in Germany for $340. It is not an expensive guitar. So with that in mind for the rest of the review, let's see what we got. The HB Fusion has a mahogany body, a bolt-on Canadian maple neck, and your choice of either an ebony or maple fingerboard. I went with maple because personally I think that looks better on strats and super strats, but for anyone on the other side of that fence, it's nice that Harley Benton gives you the choice. And speaking of choice, besides just the fingerboard materials, there are quite a lot of different variants. That's because while all of the Fusion models come with maple tops and quilted maple veneers, there are 4 different finishes. There's aqua, there's emerald, there's bengal, and of course, there's charcoal. Then you have a choice of 2 humbuckers and a single coil in the middle with the 2-point Wilkinson trem, or 2 humbuckers with a Floyd. I've gone for charcoal with a Floyd, and it looks incredibly sick. It even has a matching headstock complete with the quilt maple veneer. Between the finish and the redesigned Harley Benton logo, it definitely looks more expensive than what Thomann is asking for it. Also, the raised silver is a really nice touch as far as the headstock is concerned. This one was listed as a B stock, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out what made them label it as such. The quilt is surprisingly deep and the finish is consistent across the top. The natural wood binding is also a really good call. I love how this guitar looks. I guess there are a few minor scrapes on the back of the body, but that's it. The body is listed as having a quote ergonomic shape, which basically means that on the front it has an arm bevel and on the back it has a tummy cut as well as a slightly beveled neck joint. The neck joint leads us nicely into playability, and there is a lot of good news in that department. Firstly, the bevel I just mentioned, absolutely zero problems reaching any of the 24 stainless steel frets. Then the fingerboard, it's easily one of my favorite parts about this guitar. Firstly, the fingerboard radius is a nice round 12 inches. One of my absolute biggest gripes about quote-unquote modern guitars is how flat the fingerboard radii are. I can't stand flat fingerboards. I grew up playing Epiphones and I'm not a super shredder type of guitar, so this one gets major props from me. Then the neck is a satin finished modern C, which is on the thinner side, but not overly so. It's a medium thickness neck shape that feels quick without being too foreign for more traditional players. Something that caught me off guard as a nice, pleasant little surprise is the Fender-esque gloss on the fingerboard. Generally on lower priced guitars with maple fingerboards, you're getting a satin kind of finish, but not with this fusion, and the gloss gives it a higher end feel. The thing that really sets these fusions apart from other guitars in the price range are the features. Standard features include Grover tuners, spoke wheel truss rod adjustment, and amazingly, jumbo stainless steel frets. Stainless steel frets generally add a lot to the cost of production and therefore are usually only found on much more expensive guitars. If you haven't played a guitar with stainless steel frets yet, they're kind of awesome. They're smooth, they're shiny, so that makes them great for bends, but also they're much harder than standard nickel frets, and that means that unless you do something dumb, you probably won't need a refret for the entirety of this guitar's life. Between the smooth gloss on the fingerboard, stainless steel frets, and satin neck, this guitar is just an unbelievable player. It also helps that the fretwork is some of the nicest I've seen on a sub $1,000 guitar. There are no issues. Apart from that, if you get the HSH version, you have the previously mentioned Wilkinson tremolo, and if you get the dual humbucker version like this one, you get a Floyd Rose 1000. The 1000 is made in Korea with the same spacing as an original. It's not a Floyd Rose special, it's a high quality trem. For reference, the FR 1000 goes for $225 US on Floyd Rose's website. Yes, manufacturers get OEM discounts, but this trem on a $340 guitar with stainless steel frets, that's insane. Didn't have any problems with the tuning, even after wailing away with the trem. The setup is also great out of the box, which is awesome because setting up a Floyd is easily one of my least favorite guitar-related tasks. No gig bag or anything like that though. Thomann has made sure that for your money, you're getting maximum playability and build features. Like most of the other Harley Bentons I've tried, this comes with Roswell pickups. Specifically in this one, we've got two HAF humbuckers, which are listed as being slightly hotter than vintage Alnico 5 powered pickups. Here's what they sound like through my Mesa Dual Rectifier. So the pickups in this guitar kind of confirm how I already feel about Roswell Electronics. They're not really my thing, but they're more than okay right out of the box, and more importantly, don't add much to the overall guitar's costs, which keeps the price down for buyers. So the beauty of Harley Bentons is that they look great, play great, and fall into almost impulse buy territory as far as guitar goes. So even if you only use the body as a mod base to create your own signature model, with all those premium build features at the prices they're asking, it still makes sense as far as your wallet is concerned. As Thoman's house brand, Harley Benton could have easily used Fishman or Seymour Duncan, but if they aren't your thing, that's still a cost you're paying for even if you decide that you need to swap them out. For 430 bucks, regardless of how you feel about Super Strats, you have to admit that this is incredible value. However, the biggest problem with buying Harley Bentons for a lot of us is that they ship out of Germany. While it's great that they're being inspected and set up in-house, that also means that if you live anywhere else in the world, you have to import them. And that can be a frustrating experience. I can only speak from the standpoint of a US resident. Sometimes you'll have to pay import duties, sometimes not, and delivery workers, at least in my area, only take cash and only accept exact change. They dropped this guitar off at my local distribution center, which also didn't take cards, so I had to go to a different post office, pay, and bring the receipt back to the distribution center before I could get the Fusion. And then, if anything is wrong with the guitar, returning it is not easy. Good thing they're so inexpensive, and so far, fingers crossed, they've been very impressive for the money. Personally, now that I know Harley Benton can nail these features at this price point, I'm incredibly hyped for the single cut Fusions. And maybe some Tele-style Fusions? But mostly single cut Fusions. So if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and hit the like button. These are of course just my opinions and I'd love to hear yours, so leave them in the comments and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Also ring the bell for notifications, they sometimes work. If you want to support what I do with the honest reviews, you can check out my Patreon or merch shop. That's what keeps the channel going, and the shirts are actually really nice and soft. As always, thanks so much for watching, you've been awesome, and I'll see you for the next video.